Coming to the continuation from the force, our next it is about impulse. It is impulse. So by the definition, impulse can be defined as large amount of force, the large amount of force acting on a body for short interval of time. Acting on a body for short interval of time. Short interval of time. So by impulse I is equal to, in some books, I or J. Impulse is denoted by I or J. Impulse is equal to force into time. It is the formula for impulse. Okay. So the units, coming to the units of impulse, as we know that force SI unit is Newton, and for time it is a second. So Newton second, and coming to the CGS, dyne second. It is dyne second. As we already know that Newton is nothing but kg meter by second square into second gets cancelled, so that is equal to kg meter per second is also other unit for impulse, other SI unit for impulse, kg meter per second or Newton second. Coming to the CGS, dyne second. Dyne can also be written as gram centimeter by second square into second and square gets cancelled, that is gram centimeter by second. So the units for impulse are SI unit is Newton second or kg meter per second. CGS unit is dyne second or gram centimeter per second. Dyne second or gram centimeter per second. Right. Next, laws of motion. Next one is laws of motion. So remember here, impulse, it is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity. Why it is a vector quantity? Because force is a vector quantity. Because force is a vector quantity. So that's why impulse is also a vector quantity. Okay, Nama. Next one is laws of motion. So or Newton's laws of motion. So these laws are proposed by Newton. Newton's first law. Newton's laws of motion. Newton's laws. So regarding motion, Newton proposed three laws. Newton's first law, second law, and third law. So Newton's first law states that if no net force acts on a body, then the body remains in the same position. Then the body remains in the same position. Here same position which indicates either it is rest or in uniform motion. Rest or uniform motion. If no net force acts on a body, then the body remains in the same position, or else this first law can also be defined as a body continues in the state of rest or state of uniform motion, state of uniform motion unless an external force acts on the body. External force acts on the body. In whatever way we can define this Newton's first law, so it must give that similar meaning. So if no net force acts on a body, then the body remains in the same position. Here the same position indicates rest or uniform motion, or else this statement can also be defined as a body continues to be in the state of rest or state of uniform motion until unless an external force acts on the body. An external force acts on the body. So, which indicates that for example, here I will place the duster on the surface. So this duster will be in the rest position forever unless an external force acts on the duster. For example, or else if you switch on the fan continues to be in the rotatory motion until unless the power will go on. Or if you switch off the fan, here switching off or power gone, that indicates that an external force acts on the body, right? So this is due to the inertia. This is due to the inertia. So why this is happening? Why this body continues to be in the same position? That means rest or uniform motion. This is happening, that is due to the topic then inertia. So what is meant by inertia? Inertia is nothing but it is the inherent property. What it is? Inherent property. That means by itself the body does not change its position. So why the body does not changing its position? That is due to that inherent property. So that inherent property is nothing but inertia. This inherent property, due to this inherent property is nothing but inability. It is nothing but inability. So the inability of your body by itself, the body does not change its position. So that is what we call as inertia. So that Newton's first law, it is also called as law of inertia or Galileo's law of inertia. Law of inertia or Galileo law of inertia. We call this as a law of inertia or Galileo law of inertia. So this Newton's first law, that body continues to be maintain that position, either rest position or uniform position, that is due to that inertia. So that this inertia, due to this inherent property of a body which exists, so that by itself it does not change its position. That means if a body is in rest position, that body is in the rest position forever until unless an external force acts on the body. Or else if the body is in uniform motion, then the body will maintain its uniform motion forever until unless an external force acts on the body. But to maintain this uniform motion forever and ever, it is not possible practically. Why it is not possible practically? Which means to maintain the uniform motion, the body has to produce self force by itself. So obviously it does not possible. So due to some frictional forces, the frictional forces must act on each and every body, so that to maintain that uniform motion is not possible. Okay, so this inertia is again classified into three types: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, inertia of direction. Inertia is again classified into three types: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. So depending upon its position, so inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. So what is meant by inertia of rest? So inertia of a rest is nothing but the tendency of an object, the tendency of an object, what it is? The tendency or the property or the inability of the object to continue in state of rest, to continue in its state of rest, to continue in its state of rest. So that is nothing but inertia of rest. Okay, for example for this is, if a bus starts suddenly, if a bus starts suddenly, passengers in the bus fall backward. Why the passengers in the bus fall backwards? So initially the passengers in a bus are in rest position. So initially the position of the object here, the object is passenger. Here the passengers initially is in rest position, so that whenever an action force acts on the passenger, that means the bus suddenly starts, it gives some jerk, so that we fall backward. So actually we are in rest position. So that due to inertia of rest, we are coming from rest to motion. Next, inertia of motion. Same, the tendency of an object, to continue in state of, state of uniform motion. To continue in state of uniform motion, or simply call it as motion. So to maintain that uniform motion is not possible, so that the tendency of an object to continue in state of motion. So the example, if we switch off the fan, if the fan is off, switched off, if fan is switched off, even though if we switch off the fan does not stop suddenly. It takes some time. So if the fan is switched off, the fan blades does not stop suddenly. Because why that is happening? That is due to inertia of motion. For example, if you are running, can we stop suddenly? We cannot stop suddenly. So due to momentum, it takes some time, and after that we will stop. So in the same way, whenever if we switch off the fan does not stop suddenly. That is due to inertia of motion. Next one is inertia of direction. The tendency of an object, to maintain its direction. to maintain its direction. So, example for this, by itself it does not change its direction. It has to maintain the particular direction. So whenever some extra force acts on that body, then only it changes its direction. Will a stone, if we will a stone with a thread so what happens if you will a stone with a thread? That stone continues its rotatory motion. So suddenly if thread breaks, then the stone moves tangentially. So if we will a stone with a thread, so that the position, the motion of the stone is rotatory motion. So suddenly if the thread breaks, then the thread breaks. Actually the stone is in rotatory motion. So whenever the thread breaks, for suppose if the thread breaks here, then the stone moves tangentially from that point. So actually the motion of the body is rotatory motion. Whenever some extra force acts, that means whenever the thread breaks, so that direction changes from rotatory motion to translatory motion. So this is somewhat about inertia, right? Next, momentum or linear momentum. Next one is momentum or linear momentum. Linear momentum denoted by P. So linear momentum, which means here these are the two bodies, body 1 and body 2, right? It is 100 kg and it is 20 kg. To lift these two objects, which one need more force to apply? So obviously 100 kg. It needs more force than 20 kg. So to move from these objects from rest position to motion and also from motion to rest, so we need to apply more amount of force on bigger mass than lesser mass. So from this we can define this as linear momentum, the total quantity of motion, contained in a body. The total quantity of motion contained in a body is nothing but linear momentum. So here for a body has its mass, and if the body is in motion, it possesses some velocity. So that mass and velocity combined of an object is nothing but momentum. So momentum P is equal to mass into velocity. It is the formula for momentum. So momentum is equal to mass into velocity. Momentum is equal to mass into velocity. Okay. So coming to the units for this momentum. Momentum P is equal to mass into velocity. So SI unit is mass kg, velocity meter by second. Kg meter per second. And CS unit is gram centimeter per second. If you observe these units, you already obtained these units for impulse. for impulse. So this R is equal to Newton second and it is equal to density. It is equal to density. Next, change in momentum. Change in momentum is nothing but delta p. Here delta, this delta indicates change. So change in momentum is equal to, as we know that momentum depends upon mass and velocity. As we already know that velocity, it has two natures, final and initial. If the mass depends upon final velocity, it is final momentum. And if the mass depends upon its initial velocity, we call it as initial momentum. So that change in momentum is nothing but delta p is equal to final momentum minus initial momentum. Final momentum minus initial momentum. So delta p is equal to final momentum is denoted by mv and initial momentum is denoted by mu. So delta p is can also be written as, take m as common from these two, m of v minus u, or simply mv minus mu. If we subtract momentum from momentum, we got momentum only, so the units are same. Right? Now Newton's second law. Newton's second law states that the rate of change of momentum, second law, Newton's second law. So it states that the rate of change of momentum, what it is? The rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the external force applied on the body. Is directly proportional to the external force applied. So rate F is directly proportional to the external force applied is directly proportional to the rate of change of momentum. So it is change in momentum. Rate means with respect to time. Rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied force. So F is directly proportional to mv minus mu. Since change in momentum is nothing but mv minus mu by t, so that implies F. So here I am replacing this directly proportionality and placing a constant here. F into k is equal to mv minus mu by t. Since k is equal to constant, particular number, and k is equal to 1, then F is equal to mv minus mu by t. So take m as common, so m of v minus u by t. So F is equal to m into v minus u by t. Since v minus u by t is nothing but acceleration. From the definition of acceleration, v minus u by t is equal to acceleration. So substitute in this place as a. So F is equal to ma. It is the formula for Newton's second law. Newton's second law gives the magnitude of the force. It gives magnitude of the force. Magnitude of the force applied. Magnitude of the force applied. So here if you observe this, and also here V and U not equal to 0. If V and U is not equal to 0, then F is equal to ma. If V is equal to U and V is not equal to U, if V is equal to U or if V is equal to U or V is equal to U is equal to 0. If V is equal to U or V is equal to U is equal to 0, then F is equal to m of V minus V by T. So F is equal to m into 0 by T, then F is equal to 0. When if the two velocities are same or if the two velocities are 0, then the force applied on the body is 0. Then the force applied on the body is 0. That is, if the velocities are uniform, here the velocities are uniform, then the force applied on the body is 0. If velocity is equal to 0, then acceleration is equal to 0. So that force applied is also 0. So force, it is a vector. It is a vector quantity since it has both direction and magnitude, and also that the dimension formula for force is mass. For mass, only unit kg m. Mass, there is a mass, so that m. Acceleration, meter per second square, meter by second square. So there is a length 1 time, and second square is in denominator. So t power minus 2. T power minus 2. So m l t power minus 2 is the dimension formula for force. Next, law of conservation of momentum. Law of conservation of momentum. Next one is law of conservation of momentum. Okay, so this law of conservation of momentum states that law of conservation of momentum states that if it has 4 cases. It has 4 cases. Case 1. So before going to the cases, the statement for law of conservation of momentum. The momentum before collision is equal to the momentum after collision. Law of conservation of momentum. Law of conservation of momentum. So this law of conservation of momentum states that the momentum before collision is equal to the momentum after collision. Momentum before collision is equal to the momentum after collision. Momentum before collision is equal to the momentum after collision. So for suppose if two bodies are hit together, so what is the momentum before collision is equal to, so the momentum after collision collision. So these are the two bodies A and B, and this body mass m1, mass m2. Okay, v1 has the u1. So these two bodies, it is the case 1. Case 1, momentum before collision is equal to the momentum after collision. In that case, it is the case 1. So the body of mass m1, it is m2. It is before collision. Before collision. Okay, so these two bodies are traveling in this direction. In this direction. So after some time, it collide with each other. Mass is m1 and m2, A and B. Here, their velocities are u1 and u2. Their velocities are u1 and u2. So after collision, these bodies, okay, then before collision and it is during collision, it is during collision. So after collision, they may stick together or they may travel with different velocities. They may travel with different velocities in different directions. u1, u2, u1, u2. So after collision, their velocities are v1 and v2. So it is B and it is A. And their masses are m1 and m2. It is after collision. After collision. So during collision, the mass of A, m1, mass of B, m2, velocities are u1, u2, and it is the position of during collision. Their velocities does not changes. After collision, their velocities may change. So due to this, so the momentum of first body is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to, after collision the velocities are m1 v1 plus m2 v2. So according to Newton's third law, action, it is action and it is reaction. So action is equal to minus reaction. So F1 is equal to minus F2. So F1 is equal to minus F2. That means write all the V1 values, force 1 here. That means F1 is equal to minus F2, which means rate of change of momentum. Change of momentum on first body is equal to rate of change of momentum on second body. That applies. That is equal to, so rate of change of momentum on first body is equal to the rate of change of momentum on second body. So first body, write the first body values, m1 v1 minus m1 u1 by t. Rate of change of momentum on first body is equal to, since these are the first bodies, and rate of change of momentum on second bodies is equal to rate of change of momentum on second bodies, v2 minus m2 u2 by t. Here t gets cancelled, so that so here we have to apply minus sign because opposite, minus indicates opposite direction. So m1 v1 minus m1 u1 is equal to minus into plus minus m2 v2 minus into minus plus m2 u2. That implies write all the first terms on one side and second terms another side. m1 v1, I mean final velocities one side and second velocities another side. m1 v1 minus becomes plus m2 v2 is equal to m2 u2. Here it is m2 u2 and this minus m1 u1 on that side minus becomes plus m1 u1. If we rewrite this m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2 is the final formula as we already got it. m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. It is the first case and this case is regarding after collision. This case regards after collision. Right. After collision, the bodies are traveling with different velocities. After collision, the bodies are traveling with different velocities. So, second case. So here I am writing directly without doing this again. So the four cases here I am writing the four cases once again, writing from the starting onwards. Case 1. Case 1. If two bodies are collide with each other and after collision they travel with different velocities. So in this first case the two bodies are traveling in the same direction. It is important. A, B, m1, m2, their velocities are u1, u2, and it is during collision and after collision the bodies are traveling with different velocities. v1, v2, m1, m2, body A, body B. It is before collision, during collision, after collision. Then the equation for this is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. We got this already by before equation. Second case, same. If the two bodies are traveling in same direction, if two bodies are traveling in same direction and after collision they stick together, and travel. That means body A, body B traveling in same direction, The velocity is u1, u2, mass m1, m2. During collision, after collision, their velocities are same. V, m1 and m2, m1 and m2. So that equation becomes m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1v plus m2v, because here the two bodies velocities are same. So this equation can also be written as m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to v of m1 plus m2. It is for two bodies. These two bodies are traveling in same direction, and after collision they stick together and travel. And case 3, if two bodies are traveling in opposite direction, u1, u2, m1, m2, body A, body B, and after collision they traveled in different directions. They traveled in different directions, different velocities. M1, M2, body A, body B. So this is case 3. These two bodies are traveling in different directions and they collide. After collision they travel with different velocities. Then the equation becomes m1 u1 minus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Opposite to these cases, opposite to 1 is 3, opposite to 2 is 4. Case 4, the two bodies are traveling in different directions, m1 m2, body A, body B, and they collide with each other, A and B, and after collision they stick together and travel with the same velocity. They travel with the same velocity. So the equation becomes m1 u1 minus m2 u2 is equal to m1v plus m2v. So that m1 u1 minus m2 u2 is equal to, it is u2 is equal to v of m1 plus m2. Right. These are the 4 cases regarding this momentum. Okay, Nama? We will continue this Newton's third law in the next class. Thank you.